Hello there, and welcome to the number one movie podcast. I'm your host, Matt, here with my co host, Jack.
Hello.
And today we are talking about the 1963 classic, directed by Stanley Donen, Charade. You excited, Jack?
Yeah, I'm excited. I just got this on 4K. Criterion put out a beautiful edition of this. Watched it last night. I'd seen it before, but first time seeing it in 4K, and it was gorgeous and so much fun. So yeah, excited to get into it.
Yeah, I have the regular Blu-ray. I don't have the Criterion, or the 4K. Do you have a 4K TV?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't. So that's why I don't like. I have some 4Ks, but it's also like I don't have a TV to watch them. So
I started buying them before I even got a 4K TV. I was
Yeah.
like, one day I'll have one. And
my thought is one day I'll have a 4K TV to watch.
Yeah,
watch them.
they're pretty expensive.
They are. They're kind of a lot.
Yeah, people always talk about the TV market, like, kind of went down at some point in the last, like, 10 years, and they started becoming cheaper. But not the 4K TVs and, like, the super smart TVs with all these apps and stuff. Those are still pretty expensive.
Yeah, you get, like, a regular TV for, like, pretty cheap these days. But I think the 4Ks, I looked it up, like, not that long ago, and I was also like, Jesus Christ, like, I didn't know TV still sold for, like, that much.
Yeah, and a good 4K player, too, also will run you a couple $100.
That's why it's good to have a PlayStation. That'll just play it for you.
Yeah, one of my friends watches 4Ks on his PS5.
Yeah, sometimes I'll see people on Twitter, like, being like, what Blu-ray player should I get? Yada, yada. I was like, I've never thought about that one time, because I've either been able to play them on my Xbox or PlayStation my entire life.
Yeah, I was using the old Xbox prior to getting the 4K player. It's nice that they made those compatible with.
Well, I mean,
disc.
Sony owns Blu-ray.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it makes sense that it's built into it.
That does make sense.
Yeah. But, like, even if I end up, like, eventually, like, I'll get, like, some kind of new console, depending on what it is, if it doesn't play, like, I'm just going to keep the PlayStation, because, like, it's pretty much just a DVD player. Like, their Blu-ray player at the same time. Like, might as well just keep it and use it. What you been up to, man, before we get into it? It's been, like, 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, you were on vacation, so we took a little break there.
I was in North Carolina. I got back. My flight was delayed a day, but we made it back somehow. The air quality was so bad.
Did it? So was it in North Carolina too? Because it was terrible up here.
I think it was just that it was bad up here. So there's like a visibility issue.
Yeah, that makes sense. Those Canadian wildfires.
Yeah, they like grounded like every flight. So I was at the airport for a few hours, and then they just got canceled. They kept pushing back, and then eventually it was like, yeah, we're not flying out. So there was this like, I had to get up super early on Sunday at like 5 a.m. to get like an early like new flight, which was not fun. But we're here, we made it, and I was able to rewatch Charade yesterday, which was nice.
But you have not yet seen The Odyssey, which came out this weekend.
It did, which was I knew I was going to be away this weekend for like a while, so I like wasn't even stressed about seeing it really. But
I saw it Friday night.
Nice.
And it felt like by Thursday night that most people had already seen it.
That's what it felt like. And thankfully, being on vacation, I got like less FOMO, because I was like, oh yeah, I'm not like there, so whatever.
Yeah.
I'm looking at. I'm gonna check right now. I'm seeing it tomorrow at like 2 p.m. I imagine it's sold out, but I'm curious if it's like it's gonna be like a completely sold out theater.
Do you not have tickets already, or did you?
No, I do. I'm just checking. Like, I'm curious.
What the crowd's gonna be like.
Yeah, completely sold out.
Yeah.
There's like the couple seats in the front are open, but everything else is there. So I'm excited for that. A nice full crowd. Not 70 millimeter IMAX, but seven or just regular IMAX, but I have 70 mil tickets for about a month from now. So
Oh, you already have tickets for a month from now. Okay.
well, because they were selling out so crazy, I just like went far in advance. I was
No,
like, "Fuck
that
it,
makes sense.
let me just take these ones." So I have them,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Well, it's really good, and that'll be our next episode probably.
It will
so
be our next episode, so we
excited to
won't
talk about
we
that
won't
with you.
belabor on that one. But today we are talking about Charade, the 1963 Stanley Donen film. Um, I feel like a movie that is very loved and respected by the people that know about it, but not like a widely known movie in the same sense as a lot of like classics from this time, though I think this movie keeps kind of growing in appreciation over the years. I don't know if you would agree with that.
Yeah, it's a movie that I didn't really know about until maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
It's maybe not as classic as you know, well, like Singing in the Rain or
for
maybe
sure.
some of
Yeah.
like Hitchcock's most famous films, but definitely should be up there in the conversation with those in terms of how well it holds up and how just fun and hilarious it is.
And you'd think with like those two, Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn at like the front of it, that there would be like even like a little more of a notoriety, but maybe in its day it was famous because I think it performed well when it came out. But I guess the reason this movie is like so this is like a big movie for me or recently, and it's because I have this fun little story about this movie before we talk about the actual um, context of it, content of it. I had when I was, I don't know, 10, 11 years old or something. I was at a Radio Shack, if you can remember those. I was at a Radio Shack in our town, and I was like getting a new phone or something. And I guess then it was like much more complicated to get a new phone. There was like a lot more things you had to do from like transferring the number over or something. I don't really remember all of that, but I was there with my mom at the Radio Shack. And, they just had like a lot of those places, Best Buy, they have a TV in the back and they just kind of keep it there and they just have something on and they just leave it and like they're not watching it really. I mean, it was far away and it was on a small TV, but so I'm wandering around the store. I'm there for like 30 45 minutes, like we're there a while just figuring out this phone thing, and in the back is this TV. It's playing a movie. It was on Turner Classic Movies, and I just kind of became like fixated on this movie, and I had no idea what it was. I didn't know who anyone in it was. I was too young, but I just kind of like got drawn into it a little bit. And there were just like a couple images that kind of like caked into my brain. One was these two people on a boat going down a boat. I remember there was a shootout at the end. And I remember that the main character kept changing his name. And then you found out who he was at the end. And I remember those. I probably started it in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, so you saw like a good like 2/3 or maybe like 1/3
I
of this movie.
I was probably there a while, like just watching this movie. Because I remember being infatuated, and it's one of the first early movies that's ever like been ingrained in my brain. And I wanted to get the name of the movie. I was like almost considered asking the guy to like check what the movie was called or something, but I didn't, and I just kind of left. But those images like stayed in my brain, and over the years, I would look up like the details I remembered and try to put them into Google and be like, movie with guy who keeps saying he's someone else, or on a boat, like. And one of the issues I kept having was I
On a
thought
boat.
I like
Movies on a boat.
I was like, there's a scene on a boat. For some reason in my memory, the movie was in black and white, but it wasn't. And I think that threw me off a lot.
Yeah.
Just how your brain plays with you with those things. And I couldn't find this movie for years and years, and there was a few movies I had as a kid that I had heard about. Someone told me about them, or I watched like this that I forgot about or wouldn't remember the names, and eventually, like I found out what they were, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's the movie!" One of them was Andrei Tarkovsky's The Sacrifice. Um, was one that I had been told about the famous ending and forgot what ending it was, and then I watched the movie and I was like, "That's the movie." I remember that. And so for years and years, this was like my white whale, my movie that I was hunting for and searching for, and I would, hope that I would find one day, and I couldn't for years and years and years, and then um, let me check when I logged it.
I think it was like
Exactly.
a couple of years, like 2021 or 2022, I think. I remember.
2022.
Yeah.
I'm on Letterboxd as I am every single day, and I see that YouTuber I follow, Karsten Runquist, on
Oh yeah.
Letterboxd.
Shout out
He
Karsten.
shout out on him. He logged it, and I would always, I'm always looking at like whoever's logging stuff, any movie I hadn't heard, and
Yep.
I'm reading the description, and I go, wait a
That's
second.
it.
I just start reading the description and I'm like, is this the movie? Is this the movie? Because I would always do that with movies that were there. And I was like, oh my fucking God, is this actually the movie? And I go online and it's just on YouTube. So I just go and start watching it. And I skip to the end and I'm like looking, I'm like, where is it? Where is it? I'm like, that's the scene. And I keep skipping, like, and that's the next scene. And then I'm at the
Boat.
ending and I'm like, he's revealing it. And I start freaking out. I almost like start crying. I'm like, I finally found this movie. I finally found Charade, this movie I've been looking for like
Years.
probably a decade,
Yeah.
like 10-year saga where I'm just looking for this movie, and I found it, and it was like one of the great joys of being a cinephile that I've had, of discovering something I've been looking for forever. And not only that, watching it with fresh eyes and knowing that it's great, that it's like a really, really fun movie.
Yeah. Imagine if it was bad after all that.
I mean,
Be
at that
like,
point, like I still,
tough.
I still think I would have liked it.
Probably. Yeah.
Um,
After
but
all that.
you know, I was so just relieved. So I immediately watched the whole thing, um, and I'm just like, oh my god, there it is. There's that part. There's that part, and it was such a joy. And I immediately just kind of fell in love with it again. And yeah, and I'm glad it has such a cultural moment. I'm glad there's a Criterion copy of it.
Yep.
It's such a great movie, so I'm excited to dive into it. Before we really get into it, what were your first impressions of this movie, Jack? Quick first impressions.
Yeah. So I think I first watched this last year, maybe the year before, and just thought it was really fun. A really like great balance between kind of a crime thriller mystery and just a silly screwball comedy. I'm a huge Audrey Hepburn fan. Anytime she's on screen, I'm in no matter what.
Hard not to be.
Yeah, she's just got like such a unique face and presence, and I think in this movie especially, she's just like super charming. And then Cary Grant on top of that, maybe one of the most charming actors ever, um, and he is really just a powerhouse in this too. It's funny, we could talk more about the two of them, but like I don't even think Cary Grant's really like doing that much in this film. He's kind of just there.
He's so charming though. Like
He
his
just
one-liners are just so
yeah,
he just owns all of them so hard that you're like, yeah, man, like you're so fun to watch.
he really is. Yeah, like the movie is definitely just built off their chemistry and
Yeah.
their screen personas, but Cary Grant, like, he's got better performances than this, but he's just it's not a bad performance by any means, but he's just like, hey, I'm Cary Grant, and you're just like, bravo, amazing,
Bravo.
love it. But yeah, it's a really fun film. It really is like compared to Hitchcock in the way that it kind of keeps you on your toes, and is actually like a pretty interesting mystery
Yeah.
throughout the whole film, but it's wrapped in this silly little comedy and romance as well. You know, there's a lot of romantic elements, but the comedy and the one-liners, like you said, are just
Yeah.
some of the funniest bits that are in film.
Yeah, they're super fun. A little context for the movie before we get into it. So, it was written by Peter Stone, and there's a co-writer, I believe, Peter Stone and Mark Beam. And Peter Stone I think he might have wrote this on spec first. He written this or had the idea for it, and no one wanted to buy it, so he actually published it as like a novel first. And then once that had gained notoriety, it was reshopped to studios that then wanted to pick it up, um, which was how Stanley Donen bought it as a producer, and then as a director, he was always on board for both of those. I think it was early on tailored to both Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn. It was filmed on location for the most part, and I think all the studios they used were in Europe. I think mostly in France, because you can tell there's like some kind of it's not green screen, but like backlit projection for some of like the moving cars and stuff like that. But they did film it in France. I think they might have filmed some of the early stuff in another European location. It might have been Switzerland or Germany, but largely it was all filmed in France, which is nice. I like seeing like an old film on location.
Yeah.
And it came up. You know, this movie is right during the early spy boom. Like James Bond is like a new sensation. So a comedy mystery romantic spy thriller kind of something packaged up to one is like a big deal right now in terms of like this is kind of the equivalent of like a Marvel movie right now in a lot of senses about what's hot and like what the big kind of ticket movie is for this time, which is fun and cool, something I wasn't entirely tapped into necessarily.
Yeah, I knew Bond kind of started around this time, but yeah, I was
I just,
reading.
yeah, I just kind of
There's like
forgot.
there's two, I think, Sean Connery movies out at
Yeah.
this point,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they're definitely like already riffing on that new genre, with how kind of silly it can be at
Yeah.
times, but like there's murders in this movie, like
Yeah.
people die,
Yeah.
and it's also like a little less sexually explicit than the Bond movies, which I think was like something that maybe was a little
It was
not
still
jarring
new.
at the time. Yeah, but it was new. It was like people weren't used to that yet. So I think audiences really responded to kind of just the coziness of this film without the romance being, really sexual.
Yeah, it's a 60s movie with a lot of 50s
Yeah.
energy still. And I think it mixes a lot of that nicely where it's kind of like leading you with the old but bringing in some of the new. Like it is, I was reading some of the reception at the time and it was considered grisly. Like, think about that. Like, I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, this is like, you know, very vanilla violence in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. But at the time, it was considered like a little grotesque to some
Did they
critics.
did they say like specifically which parts? Because I think there is one murder that's like a little bit
Is it
like
the drowning one?
no, actually it's the guy with the bag over his head.
That one's a bit
Yeah.
intense. Yeah,
Because it's like
yeah.
a hard cut to that, and you're just like,
Ooh,
oh yeah,
yeah.
like, and he's like hogtied. It's a
Forgot about
little,
yeah,
yeah. You don't actually see the drowning. You just see
yeah.
him like
In
looks
the
like he's just asleep in the
in the
bathtub,
tub.
kind of.
Yeah, yeah. So it is interesting how it mixes those, and like there is a lot of stuff about like in the movie about romance and like the sexual tension, but it doesn't go as far, even though clearly like they're into each other. One reason for some of that is that Cary Grant was a little
A little older.
nervous. he was a little nervous about being older than Audrey Hepburn, and because of that, he asked specifically for them to mention that stuff in the script, which is kind of the reason why she fawns over him more than he fawns
Yeah.
over her, because he wanted to make it clear that it was more of an even relation, or like that he wasn't like a
Yeah, yeah,
pervy
yeah. He
old
was
man.
not taking advantage of her or something.
Yeah,
Which
it's
like
interesting that he was really thinking about that at the time. Yeah.
W. Cary Grant,
W.
like
Cary Grant for that one.
love
Yeah.
a woke before woke was even a thing. King, yeah,
Or
not taking advantage of younger women in Hollywood.
For sure. Yeah, but let's oh, I thought of something funny. Tell me how many movies, at least according to Letterboxd, that you think Cary Grant was in.
Ooh, I feel like he's in a lot. I feel like actors like him were just constantly working back then. So I'll say like 150.
Okay, you're close. I'm just looking through these, and a lot of these are probably kind of nonsense things, or some of them at the end. But 162 or 152, 150. You're really close.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's
So
go.
it's probably a little less actually, but man was in some movies. It's so funny when you see that though, because you look through them, and he was probably in like 20 good movies.
They were just pumping him out.
They're
back
just
then.
pumping him out, but
Yeah.
that was the life of a working actor. I've only seen 4 Cary Grant movies. I have seen North by Northwest, Charade, His Girl Friday, and The Philadelphia Story. Those are the only 4 of his I've seen. So there's definitely a few more I have to get around to at some point.
Yeah, same here. I know a lot of. I've heard of a lot of these. But yeah, I mean, some are deeper cuts for sure. And then I'm looking at it on that right now on Letterboxd. He's credited in a epic Elvis Presley in concert
Yeah,
from last year.
I just saw, like, if you go all the way to the bottom, there's some that they're
Another
like, these aren't
Elvis
even movies. They're
thing.
just kind of like specials or something. From the things I've seen Cary Grant in, I'd say my favorite performance of his is maybe His Girl Friday. A pretty fantastic performance. Do you know that His Girl Friday, Jack, was the first movie to ever have 2 people talking over each other in the movies?
I feel like I might have heard that somewhere. It's like I haven't seen it actually, but I know it's like a very famous kind of script where it's really just dialogue. It's like one of the first movies that featured mostly just people talking in a room.
It's a zippy 92-minute kind of funny, ridiculous movie. I saw it in high school at some point. It's good. I should rewatch it at some point, but he is fucking talking. And yeah, I mean, what I've seen him in, he's just very commanding.
Yeah.
You want to guess how many movies Audrey Hepburn's been in?
Well, I know she died pretty young. I think she was maybe 63.
About, yeah.
So I know it's probably a lot less, but I'll say like maybe 75.
65. So not bad at all. I've only seen 2 Audrey Hepburn movies. So I'm slacking for sure. I've only seen Roman Holiday and Charade.
So I like desperately want to see Roman Holiday because I was just in Italy a couple months ago and
Yeah.
really loved Rome. I'm waiting until I get it on 4K, I think, to watch it. I'm
It's
gonna
great.
Do
It's
the rare buy it before I actually see the movie.
it's
But
charming. I'd like
Yeah.
to do a lot of buy before I see for some movies. It's hit or miss, but I like giving myself the like, oh, let me check it out.
yeah, and it's Audrey Hepburn in Rome. Like, I'm
You're gonna
pretty
like
sure
it.
I'm gonna like it.
It's
Yeah.
you know who wrote that one?
No.
Dalton Trumbo, the
Dalton Trumbo.
Dalton Trumbo.
No.
You remember that Bryan Cranston played him in a movie like 10 years ago or whatever?
Yeah.
He's like the famous blacklisted writer. He was like
Interesting,
one of the
okay.
first. He's like a super famous screenwriter who was blacklisted for having communist views. Our first an OG woke king, left
Okay.
king.
I was anticipating something far worse. People get canceled for way less now.
No, but he was one of the first like blacklisted like during that boom, like the Red Scare.
Yeah.
He had to work as a with a pseudonym, but So he was not listed as a writer for Roman Holiday, and he only got the award maybe when he died or later. But he wrote two Oscar-winning screenplays that he didn't get to actually accept. He had someone else go. Essentially, he was a ghostwriter. But Roman Holiday is a great movie. I have to see a bunch. Like Breakfast at Tiffany's, My Fair Lady.
Breakfast at Tiffany's. There's a popular letterbox review for Charade actually that says that Audrey Hepburn should be known for this movie, and not the stupid racist one where she stands outside of a store eating breakfast.
Yeah.
And that is Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's actually like not that great in my opinion. Might be a hot take to some, but it's really just like peak Audrey style and glam, and like she just is like really good in her role, and everything else is kind of whatever. But worth watching just for the iconography.
What's so funny about Audrey Hepburn to me is you read about her, and one of the most maybe privileged people that's ever lived. And, you know, she was born in Brussels to an aristocratic family, spent part of her childhood in Belgium and England and the Netherlands. She like studied in Europe and London, a performer, and you're like, yeah, but like she's so beautiful and charming and funny, so whatever. Like sometimes you hear about those people and you're like, ugh, but I see her and I'm like, yep, deserved. Like some people were just born for it.
Yeah, I think she also did a lot of like humanitarian work.
She was a
too.
big humanitarian.
So like, use that money and privilege for good,
Go off, Queen.
Yeah.
But what I like about kind of what was good sometimes about, I mean, she played into those roles a lot. She knew French and stuff like that. Like this French in this movie she speaks. Like she speaks it, I'm pretty sure like fluently because like she grew up around French people and stuff.
Yeah.
Or in France. So like I appreciate when actors come from culture but are cultured. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're rich and you're just kind of annoying, like whatever. But if like you can use that for actual talent,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Let's get into some of the meat and potatoes of this movie. So this movie starts with, I think, this movie sets itself up well. It kind of creates its two tones very quickly. We see this man thrown off of a train. And then immediately we go into this very fun and zippy title sequence. And I think it's kind of setting you up for like, this is a crime murder mystery, but we're here to have some fun.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the opening to a Bond movie, which is usually
Totally
set to some song and features a lot of just moving colors and images. And I think it's trying to set you up to think this is going to be just a, spy thriller, but turns out it's that plus a lot of other silliness and romance and just funny bits all throughout.
I mean, yeah, and I think this movie is very smart in how it's telling you how to watch the movie. Is the first scene we get post title sequence is that there's a gun and
Yep.
it's pointed right at Audrey Hepburn, and you're like, so I'm about to shoot her, and then you realize it's actually a water gun,
Yeah.
and it's setting you up for deception. That this is a movie about deception. And I think it's a really smart way of telling the audience exactly what you're getting in for. That is a crime movie, but a silly crime movie. And before that, I do want to say, I do love this opening title sequence with all the fun, colorful little lines and stuff going around. I do miss a good title sequence from movies.
Yeah, I feel like we don't get those as much anymore. And if we do, they're like just really boring. It's just showing the credits and maybe there's a song, but yeah, another thing to mention is that the score goes pretty hard.
It's a good score. Another thing about this movie is, so it's not actually copyrighted. Back then, the way you would copyright movies was very different than the way you copyright them now, or like the way the paperwork functioned. And Warner Brothers fucked up the copyright. And so immediately upon release, this movie became public domain. which is why it's on YouTube. It's widely available. There's a bunch of different
I
cuts
did
of
see
it.
it was on YouTube. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
why. Because they
Interesting.
actually they but the music is not copyright claimed. So um, you like can play like you can have the movie, but you can't like do stuff with the music because the music is still copyrighted.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is interesting.
Yep.
That those are
Makes
separate
sense.
things. But one of the rare movies that is not copyright claimed and is public domain that's actually like a good movie, which is really funny. Um,
Has anyone tried to remake it? I wonder.
I doubt it, but like I don't want to see it remade.
Definitely not. But so many things get remade that don't need to be remade at this point.
I
So it
yeah,
wouldn't shock
I
me.
think the silliness of the crime and the bad guys are like too dated for it to work now, unless you like reworked a lot of it, and I don't know if I want to see
Yeah.
that.
People might think it's too cheesy, but
Yeah, like it
who
works.
would you cast in it if you were making this
Ooh,
today?
good question. I think for Audrey, maybe Anya Taylor-Joy.
Hmm.
She has kind of that,
Does she have comedic chops?
we'll find out.
Maybe.
I think, I'd like to
She has
see.
she has a look though.
She has
a
the
very
look. I think she has
striking.
that kind of like posh look.
Yeah.
I think she was kind of she was weird, but she was charming in Queen's Gambit. So, and she's kind of funny in the menu a little bit when they give her the funny lines. Like, I mean, she's mostly like the traumatized character,
Yeah.
but like, um,
So is Audrey Hepburn in this a little bit, but it's
yeah,
played a little bit more, for laughs.
um,
But half the movie is her just being like, "What's going on?" and making like
yeah,
a shocked face, which she nails. Looks so cute.
yes, she's adorable. She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's a few scenes where I was like, oh my God, like. Cary Grant, you're lying. I'm sorry, man. Like you're not that like playing it cool. Who would you cast? This is interesting.
I don't know. I just thought of this like right here on
No,
the
let's
spot.
let's cook. Let's cook.
Um, all right, someone who's like just a little bit older. Um, I don't know. Do you think Christian Bale's coming to mind for some reason? I
Huh.
don't know if he's like really that funny, but he could be. I don't know, Matt Damon maybe.
No,
Not as charming,
no.
but
Because like really,
can
who
be
you need
funny.
for this is George Clooney, but now he's too old.
That's the perfect. That's the
See,
perfect
you need
answer.
George
Clooney.
Clooney like 7 years ago, and you're perfect. He's like a little too old now.
Yeah,
Because he's in his 60s. But I mean, George Clooney is the modern day Cary Grant. I mean,
yeah.
that is what he does so well is kind of blend like the modern with the classical. Um, but I'm trying to think of who could like do it if we had to do it today. That's like a little younger than him. Um, Christian.
I think that's like the perfect answer.
I mean, it is. It is. Maybe you could just age it up a little bit.
Yeah,
And
I
just
missed it by like 5 years, but
yeah,
we're
five
not
years.
we're not remaking this movie
5 years ago, it would have been perfect for George Clooney. I'm trying to think of any other actresses.
I mean, Emma Stone can play funny, but
I think she's a.
she
I
might
guess
be too.
she might be a little older.
Yeah, right at this point, I think she's like late 30s.
I mean, yeah.
Um, it's a tough comparison.
I'm
Audrey
trying to look
Hepburn
up
is such
lists
a
right now.
she's such a like unique star.
This is a random one I'm seeing. What about Zoe Deutsch?
I could maybe see it. She's got the French down.
Yeah,
She is
she
French.
is funny.
She is funny. She's
She
charming.
she can be very charming.
Have you seen her new Netflix movie? Was it Voicemails for Isabel?
No, but my girlfriend's very excited about it.
It's good. She actually carries it
Okay.
really well, and she's very funny and charming. That's actually, I think you're 2 for 2. George Clooney and Zoe Deutsch in the Charade remake that
Who
no
would
one's ever gonna make.
who would be Walter Matthau? Would it be like?
Paul Walter House.
I was literally about to say Paul Walter Hauser. I was literally about to say that.
Walter.
Maybe that's
yeah.
where the brain went.
But but he could do that. He could play that pretty well.
Maybe Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons, he could do anything.
He could do anything, so I could see him doing that. I'm trying to think if there's anyone like a character actor. Um, but I think this guy's too old. Is it Bill Camp? Maybe
You don't
Bill.
have to go down the Three Stooges rabbit hole with those guys, but
Maybe like again, I think Paul Giamatti's too old. I'm thinking of guys with just like a face.
yeah, I don't know.
Because Walter Matthau's got such a face on him.
He really does.
Love that guy. We'll get to him. We'll get to him in a bit. But good question. Yeah, we don't have to do the Three Stooges, guys. That
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
who.
too far.
Yeah, that's for down the line. Okay, so we one thing this movie also does so well. We're getting into this. We see the ski resort and everything. It is like filming on location there. It is so beautiful, and like this movie has so many like intentional color pops that I think are really nice and kind
Yeah.
of from that early Bond era where like they're very bright. They have a lot of like fun colors, like the use of yellow on white with reds, and there's so many people in the background. I just love how this movie looks, like the scene with the pool and the red hat on the white. Like there is so much going on in the backgrounds here, so the frame feels so full. Something I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And just that use of color.
Yeah, that kind of stuff really like just makes a film better. Even if you don't notice it, it's always like just makes it feel so much more real.
Yeah.
And as opposed to a lot of stuff that's made today on like a stage somewhere
Yeah.
that you can kind of tell it's just not as lived in of a world. But
Yeah.
the colors, especially in the film, again, looked great on the 4K.
I'm excited one day.
And we'd be remiss to not mention Audrey Hepburn's just killer fashion in every scene.
Killer fashion.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, she's just an icon, a fashion icon, and
Yeah,
even
the
in the
hat
opening
with
scene
the,
with, like, the-
baklava or
Yeah.
the balaclava or whatever it is.
I saw earlier that is like still referenced in stuff today, like Emily in Paris, which not gonna watch that ever, but apparently they stole that look from Audrey in this movie too, referencing that.
Oh, we can also talk about here, but the kid Jean-Louis
Jean-Louis.
who pulls out. He's so annoying. He's such a dick. Stupid idiot Jean-Louis.
Damn, he's like 5 years old. Actually, he's probably like 4.
Fucking idiot too.
Damn.
Yeah, he pissed me off. We'll get to the part later. I was like, this fucking kid.
Nice, so funny. Well, actually, yeah, there is one part later with him that I have maybe a question about, but
Yeah, he's.
this is before they made child actors good.
Yeah, no, because he's terrible. But like, he's so funny that you're just like, whatever. Like, he's French, so he kind of gets away with it. If he was English, I think I would be more upset about it. But the fact that he's French, I'm like, whatever. But the mom is not good in this movie. She's kind of a bad actor, but it's also fine because she's French, speaking English. So I'm like, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't bother me at all. But it is funny when she's just like, "What are you going to do?"
She's I'm looking at her on Letterboxd. She's not an actress.
Okay.
She's like one other movie that she's in
That's funny.
as
Yeah.
some character's wife. So
Okay. Yeah.
I
So
wonder how they cast her. Maybe they just like
It may-
desperately needed someone last minute.
is she like
I don't know.
Audrey's friend or something?
Perhaps, yeah.
But we set up here that Cary Grant runs into Audrey Hepburn here, and he like wants to, he's like trying to put a little move on her. And she's like, "I have a husband," and I forget how he maybe wants to make see her make a deal or something, and he's like, "I'll call your husband."
Yeah, she was like, she says that she's getting a divorce or something, and he's like, "Oh, not on my account," and like that starts that
Yes.
divorce bit. And he's like, I think she says, "Is there a Mrs. Joshua?" And he says, "Yes,
Yes,
but we're
but
divorced."
we're divorced. One of the best bits in this
Great
movie.
writing bit.
Love the running. There's a few running bits in this movie. The one
Yep.
where her and Mathau keep going agent or spy.
Yeah.
over and over. That one's really cute.
Yeah.
I love those ongoing bits. But she gets back to her house, her beautiful French apartment, and it's empty. And the fact that apartments just would like casually look like this is so crazy. With like
Yeah.
the
It looks like a castle on the
yeah,
inside,
and
but it's
like
an apartment.
they just look like that there. Like, or they used to, like everywhere. Everyone, like if you had an apartment, it just kind of had that feature.
I don't know.
And
It looks pretty upscale, but
it is, but I've watched like other movies where like there's at least some similar ish looks. It's maybe not as nice, but like
yeah. But
you're
like
like
the modern decor
yeah.
is kind of like minimalized all of
There
the
there was still a lot of craft in like the
Yeah.
workmanship.
yeah.
But so she meets the French detective and she gets her stuff and she's like, "Oh, your husband had $250,000," which I did the conversion on, for everyone wondering, and
I
it
also did.
it's it's a little over $2.7 million today,
Yep.
which is a lot of money. This is a lot of fucking money that they're going after, and so she's all bummed out, even though she didn't love her husband anymore. She's like, he's dead, and then Cary Grant shows up and he's like, "Oh, I called," and I'm sorry to hear the news.
It's so funny, like in retrospect, like even at the moment, you're like, "Who is this guy? Like, why does
Yeah.
he keep showing up?" But like in retrospect, it makes sense. And at first, you're just like, "Oh, this guy's just like interested in her, I guess," and he just keeps popping in, like. But
But
of
they
course,
do a good
there's
job
more
of
to it.
like you pretty much get a sense that he's not the bad guy because he's Cary Grant, because he's
Yeah.
just like too charming. But the fact that they tease, like, is he the bad guy? Is he not the bad guy?
Well, at
They,
first, you have no idea. You're like,
yeah,
"Oh, he's just trying to help her," and then the first twist,
is like
which we'll get to,
we'll get to,
which
but
is really
so they have this funeral, and then these guys show up and they like spit on him, and you're like,
good.
you're
the
like,
guy,
gee,
the guy sneezes on her husband like 4 times in a row really fast, which he does several other times, but
and
it's
then
just a great
yeah,
bit.
and then Tex, the other guy, checks he's dead.
Yeah, he puts up a mirror or something.
Yeah,
Which at first I was like, what is he doing? I don't
yeah.
know, and then I figured out later that's what it was. But yeah, another like just funny. You're like, what are these guys doing? And of course, Regina, we should call her by her character's name. Reggie, which is cute.
Yeah, it's a funny name.
Reggie has no idea who these guys are. And then what does the third guy do? He comes in.
He like stabs him.
Oh yeah, he takes like a pin out of his
Yeah.
collar and just like stabs him.
Yeah,
I guess to see if there's blood coming out.
yeah.
They're funny guys.
They are very funny. And then ooh, I was looking at the movie right here. And then we go into the office and we meet my good old buddy Walter Matthau's character Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
And have you watched any Walter Matthau movies? Any other ones?
I don't think so. I've he's pretty famous, so I recognize the name, but no, I don't think so.
This
I
is the
haven't
only
seen
one?
JFK actually, which is I really got to check.
I started it once and I was like, this is like a 3-hour movie. I can't right
It is
now.
pretty long, yeah. But no, I don't think I've seen any other ones.
He is really good in. So he's like the lead in the Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, the original one, not the Tony Scott one, the remake with Denzel and John Travolta. But he's so good in that movie, and he has like one of the all-time great like face acting moments at the end of that movie. Totally worth watching. It was a big inspiration for Christopher McQuarrie when he was doing a lot of the train stuff for Mission Impossible. He loves that movie. It's great. And then you, Jack, and anyone listening should watch A New Leaf, the Elaine May movie. He is so fucking funny in that movie. He plays a diva, prissy, rich snob in that movie, and he is so fucking funny. I was watching every line of his. You're just like, the fact that he like was not winning every single award for that movie is crazy. He's so funny in that movie. I love Matthau. He's awesome. Like such a good face, such a good character actor. And I love that he gets some stuff to do in this movie.
Yeah, he has some great lines and some great back and forths with Audrey Hepburn. So yeah, definitely should check. I'll check out New Leaf. It sounds good.
Yeah, those are two really good movies. Yeah, and so here we establish that he's CIA, and that there's this whole conspiracy, that there's this money that's gone missing, and it's the government's money, and they need it back, and um, maybe Audrey will know where it is, Reggie will know where it is, so he wants her to go find it and bring it back to him and figure it out, essentially like making her a spy.
Yeah.
Um,
Everyone in this movie, and the French policeman too, also thinks that she knows where it is, and it's just a lot of people being like, "Where's the money?" And she's like, "I don't know," and she's just like playing it so well. It's just like
I
it's
haven't got
just
a
great.
clue where the money is.
Yeah.
What I love about this performance from Audrey Hepburn is she's like she's smart, but she's pretty dumb in this movie. She's very gullible, I'll say. She's very gullible, and when we get into more of the Cary Grant stuff, um, it's always like,
Yeah, she's
"What are you
always
doing?"
so
And then
surprised.
she's just like, "Oh, I love you,
I
I
like when she's
love you,"
gaslighting her repeatedly.
and she's like falling back in love with him every like 10 minutes, and I'm like, "Girl,"
It
but
is
I'm
pretty
like,
funny. Yeah, that's like maybe the only like flaw in the film really is that you're kind of just like, why is she just falling so hard for this
he's
guy?
Cary Grant.
He is Cary Grant. That's the counter
I
argument.
think the
But
movie is silly enough where you can
you
buy
go with
and
it. Yeah.
you can go with it. Um, and he runs into her at the park, and they kind of start this relationship of him trying to help her. They go on this dance. They do this funny little like orange thing where they like have to put their chins.
A really like weird thing that just like is thrown in,
Yeah,
especially with like the woman who starts it, and Cary Grant kind of walks up to her like a ostrich almost, or where he's just kind of like, how do I stick my head in there? And he like looks at her chest, and he's like, all right, don't want to go too close to that. He's just like, it goes on for like 2 minutes, and you're just like, all
it's
right.
long. Their willingness to like be really vulnerable and goofy and dumb is, I think, what makes them such great performers. And
Yeah,
I think something like any performer should be taking into account is like the goofier you let yourself be, the more people will like, I think, respect your performances.
yeah. Like I can't see Leonardo DiCaprio doing this at all.
No, I totally can see him doing this. What do you mean? He's one of
Really?
the one guys. I mean, think about Wolf of Wall Street, like him falling down the stairs on the
I
Quaaludes.
don't know if
Like,
that's like goofy in the same way. It's more like
I don't know. I think he's actually. I mean, think of also like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like he plays such like a like a diva in that movie that like he's. I actually think Leo is one of the guys I think is willing to do it, which is why I think he's had such staying power. Like to me, I think his secret weapon is that he does not present cool most of the time. He actually kind of presents like a loser in most of his movies.
well, I
Recent.
think that's different. Oh, turn my light off. I think that's different than being like a character that's uncool or a character that's high on quaaludes or just like being a loser. Like openly being silly and stupid is different to me than like playing a character that is like making dumb choices or you
But
know
I think he still like plays those like he has like the fun dancing. He like I think he's really funny in the moments where he has to like kiss the old lady in Wolf of Wall Street, or like he's not that it's a good movie, but like he's pretty goofy in Don't Look Up. Um,
is he?
I
I don't know.
he's like the straight man, but he's like the nervous straight man the whole time.
Anyway, I think he takes himself very seriously, like in real life, which is fine. I mean, I love Leo. He's the
But that's what I'm
greatest
saying.
actor of a generation.
He
But
takes himself seriously, but I feel like he allows himself to be really vulnerable in his performances. Um, and like it's
yeah,
a different type,
in a different way. Yeah,
a different way, but I think he's like way goofier than people give him credit for in his movies. than like a lot of more serious guys that just stay serious and like they never like kind of adapt. I mean, another guy, we'll talk about him next week. I don't think this is a movie where it will apply to, but Matt Damon is another guy that I think plays a lot of like weirdos and losers, and is another reason he's had such staying power is he's willing to like kind of make a fool of himself in a lot of movies.
Yeah, he can
like-
be really goofy.
Like
for sure.
two, like those to me are two guys that have had maybe two of the most like illustrious careers in Hollywood ever, and a reason I think they've stayed around versus some of their kind of contemporaries is their willingness to be like very, to not play like traditional characters at all.
Yeah. For more on Leo and Matt Damon, listen to the Bill Simmons podcast that came out today.
Oh wow, funny
where
coincidence.
he compares their careers and tries to argue that Matt Damon's had a better career than Leo. Which
You
by
can-
some
you can
metrics he has.
You
but
you can argue. I think the difference is like Leo has always been culturally important, where Matt Damon has not always been in the same way.
yeah, that's
We're
one
li-
of the things they talk about. And Damon's made like twice as many films. Leo's way more selective with his projects.
Yeah,
Really only takes things where he's the lead. And yeah,
and Matt Damon will do a lot of cameos and stuff, and he like
side parts.
my favorite. I used to have a letterbox list that was called like, oh look, Matt Damon, where it's like all the movies where he like pops into, and I think that's kind of one of his superpowers is like a surprise Matt Damon performance is like one of the greatest superpowers a movie can have. I mean, like that's like Interstellar, like not like no one knew he was in that. But he does it in like other he's in like a couple Soderbergh movies. He'll like pop in for like a scene,
Yeah.
and you're like, whoa, like hell yeah, okay, we're getting like 15 minutes of Damon all of a sudden.
Yeah. More
Um,
on Damon next week.
Yeah, we'll have Damon talk next week. We'll get into it. Yeah, Cary Grant, he's a big goofball. He's funny, you know. I love that he's, you know, this charming, suave, you know, kind of sex symbol that's also like incredibly goofy, and that scene highlights that. But I also think it's somewhat of a parody of some of those, you know, these spy movies have set pieces, and they're supposed to be kind of these fun, like electric set pieces, and I think in a way this is kind of satirizing that of like, oh, here's like the place we have to go now, and it's like, oh, it's like this funny little jazz place where we like put oranges on our chins.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a sexy nightclub where there's going to be a shootout, but instead they're just like
They're doing this.
they're doing orange toss or orange. I don't even know what you call it. Pass.
Yeah, and one thing, Jack, I don't know how you feel about this in the movie. So the three goons, we'll call them, they kind of pop in and out a ton, and I think it's kind of an interesting thing that you don't really see anymore is like goons that keep kind of coming in and out, but aren't like always threatening them, but then they will, and then they like will not appear again. Like there's the fight later, but then they're kind of good again. It's like an interesting relationship they have. Will they keep like threatening Audrey and Cary Grant, but then like keep hanging around them? Like the fact that they're all on the same floor of a hotel room is really funny to me.
Yeah, they're like actively trying to hurt Reggie, but just like not very good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's part of the general like silly tone of the movie that these guys are actually like not all that threatening, but then when they want to be, they're, you know, fighting on a rooftop and threatening to throw Cary Grant off the building.
It's the thing, they have their moments, and then the other moments you're like, I guess we're kind of chilling right now.
Yeah,
There's the part in the telephone booth where Tex, he's the only one's name I remember.
yeah,
He like lights a bunch of matches and keeps like throwing them on the ground by Audrey, and it's like a little silly, but also I can see a woman like her freaking out about that.
I was waiting for her to just start blowing them out as he's lighting them. I
That
think
would have been really
That
funny.
would have been a good bit. Like he lights it and holds it there for a second. She just goes. I was like, when is she gonna start doing that? But then he just drops them on her. And she's like trying to pat them out and stuff.
Yeah, the way these characters kind of pop in and out is very funny.
Yeah,
And then, you know, we get the hook guy again after that when she goes back into her room. And the way they shoot this scene is kind of like a little bit of a horror scene for a second. with his hook for a hand, and they kind of have this, I think, a little bit of handheld where this like kind of POV stuff that I think is very effective. Briefly, where he is, kind of a scary, tall, kind of weird looking man with his big trench coat, and I like the way that they shoot that, and then it kind of goes back to like it's more traditional filming. But Donan's not like afraid to just start kind of mixing it up in the middle whenever he feels like it.
Is this when he smacks his hook into the door?
He does, which I also love that they keep fucking up this hotel, and they don't kick him out of the hotel, but they just keep being like, guys, cut it out.
Yeah, they like at one point someone like seals over the hole in the door, and he says next time use the peephole or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of like, oh, sorry. Yeah.
It is really funny. Also, after that, Cary Grant's like, I'll jump into the other room and look for him. And he literally jumps across the street, like off balconies, like could potentially die.
Doing a little like Mission Impossible. Yeah.
To get, which is fun, but just to literally go to like, I guess he goes 2 rooms over.
Yeah.
He could just walk into the hallway and go around. And then to find out that first twist of the movie, he knows these guys and he's working with them. And it feels like a lot of work to do that, but it's fun and it's effective, and you realize that they're all looking for this money together, and he's trying to get it from her, and it looks like the 3 of them trust each other, but not Cary Grant, and Cary Grant kind of doesn't trust them, but they're all kind of working together and all sabotaging each other at the same time.
Yeah. The first time you watch it, the twist like really hits where you're like really shocked. Like you did not expect Cary Grant to be the villain at all, or working with these guys.
Because he's so different. He feels so different than them.
Yeah, and he obviously is. He's much smarter than them, and I think he says he's the brother of like one of the guys that they were in the war with, and I think he was presumably killed in action. Or they said they had to leave his body there.
Yeah,
so
that's a little later.
He says he's his brother working with them to try to, collect.
Yeah, what's the name? It starts with a D.
Dial.
Yeah.
So
Carson Dial's brother.
Yeah.
Alexander Dial. Alexander. His first name is Peter Joshua, and then
now he's Alexander Dial.
Alexander Dial, but I don't think she still thinks he's Peter Joshua. But then, so he goes into the room, and they have fun banter again, and then she's like, I'm like falling for you or something, and then she goes onto the phone, and immediately he's fucking his shit up, and I'm like, bro, why are you? It's so funny how they keep working together, but also keep trying to like fuck with each other.
Yeah.
And he's like, his name is Dial, Alexander Dial, or just Dial, I think, and immediately she's like, oh shit, and
yeah, her mood change is super quick.
And they kind of shoot him a little more sinister, like slightly. There's more kind of shadow on his face.
He's like smirking a little bit.
The music kind of swells into that. The way she like hugs him is like a little more sinister. And then he kind of plants that like wire.
Great like spy. Little like touch there.
Which makes
see when she's leaving.
Which makes you believe, because you're like, he's going through all this effort.
Yeah.
And
it really makes you think that he's still the villain,
and they get this very fun
This is the subway chase, right?
No, not yet. That's late in the movie. So it's like her and Mathau walking through the like French market.
Oh, right. Like, she pretends to get in the cab.
Yeah.
And then he goes in the next cab.
Wait, not even. That's not even yet.
I thought that was.
No.
And then
so
she goes to see Mathau, right?
Oh yeah. She pretends to go in the cab.
Yeah.
And he follows the cab.
So she loses him pretty easily.
She loses him quickly.
Which women make better spies.
Women make better spies. And then so she goes to the market to meet Mathau. And I just remember there's like the one line where they see like a butcher shop or like a bunch of meat laying out, and he's like, "Well, that'll make anyone vegetarian." And she's like, she's like, "That could be me soon or something." Like, I just hope that's not me.
Yeah. And then they're at the restaurant, and she's like ripping the filters off the cigarettes.
Yes, and I love that scene where she takes it, goes, "Hey, these are expensive, you know."
she's like, I hate these things. And then
Yeah.
starts smoking it without the filter.
I love. He's like, hey, what the fuck are you doing here? And
Yeah.
he's probably right. They probably were pretty expensive at the time. This cafe looks so nice, you know. So I think I talked about last episode. Like I shot a short film recently, and when you start shooting a conversation, you know, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, and you try to think of ways to make it look more interesting. And it's not like the shots in this scene are particularly crazy or anything, but it's just so colorful. There's this green tile as the backsplash. There's the red chairs. What else do we have here? There's the kind of there's like checkered. There's like stuff in like the background going on where there's people in there. Then there's this kind of like tiled picture. There's blue on the table with the red. There's just like a lot of colors going on, a little yellow that makes it feel very full and not just like a boring conversation, you know?
Yeah. Great production design.
It's yeah, it's just those simple things that make these movies kind of stand out in interesting ways.
Yeah. I
That
wonder if there was like there was more thought given to that as like color film started to become more a thing. They were like, well, we got to take advantage of, you know, this new technology.
well, totally. You're actually right because Kurosawa was one person that did that when he went into color film. He spent most of his life working in black and white, and then I want to say is his first color film Ran, and
Sounds right.
it is just like brimming with color. Like he was finding any possible way to just kind of stuff that movie with different colors, and I think a lot of the great directors, there was a real sense of, I think, at least fear at first in terms of like you lit things for the understanding of black and white, but now you have to light for color. But I think there was so much intention in the way that they wanted to light all of these things, and that's something I like. I appreciate so much about these old guys is like they really put the craft in. Okay, I think his first color film, looking on, was Do Deskaden, which is
Don't know that one.
yeah, it's a less known one. I've seen parts of it. Ran was a few years later, but the second he starts getting into color, I mean, these guys. What year did he do color? He did color late, actually. Color had been a thing. I think it got to like Japan later than everywhere else. But by then, yeah, like you see with like Hitchcock, like Hitchcock's
Yeah.
movies become incredibly like colorful, and they really go for it. And I think this movie really has a lot of that too. And I love the banter. I think the script is just so much fun in this movie.
Yeah.
These lines again, you make a great spy, agent. I'm a great agent, spy. Just kind of back and forth with all that. And then you get the scene I was thinking of where she's following Cary Grant, Dial now,
At this
Carson
point,
Dial, and he like sits next to like that kind of like weird, kind of ugly man, and
Oh yeah, like I think he's like a German guy.
or something, and he's like, oh, and then she gets up, he's like, wait, and she's like, get the fuck away from me, and then he like looks, and
He
then she's like,
turns
oh my
around.
god, yeah,
And
and
she
it's
goes
like
back to him. Yeah.
it's like poor guy, but like it's so funny,
Yeah.
and
He's just
then
like, how are you? When did you get in town?
and then he's like chasing after her again, and she was like, get away from me, how dare you.
Poor guy. Poor
And
guy.
it's just like so silly in its execution of like all these things that I think like a lot of movies would take themselves more seriously. This one just kind of leans into all the silliest ways it could do anything. And then here is where we find out right after they have a phone conversation where he says that he is Alexander Dial, Carson Dial's brother.
Yeah.
So we find out about 50 minutes into the movie his second persona, his at least the name he's giving himself. And then we have the I think this is
This is the subway chase.
no, that's it. We have the fight with on the roof with the
Right,
hook
because
guy.
the hook guy holds him at gunpoint
Yes.
at the embassy.
Yes.
And so they go up to the roof, and at one point, he takes Cary Grant's gun, empties the bullets, and he's holding the gun in his hook hand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you shoot him with that? I don't know.
I don't think
And
so.
I think that's like a goof in the movie, but it
Yeah.
actually like works for
Yeah.
the plot. It's like he's like, yeah, let me just hold this with my hook real quick, and it's kind of funny if you notice it, because you're like, I don't know if that would actually shoot.
Yeah, I don't think you can actually do anything with that. But this scene's really fun because there's not like there's much more action, maybe a little bit later in the movie, but this movie kind of just has everything, and I love that it's so willing to incorporate like every possible like genre into it. And like, for a guy, Cary Grant, that was clearly not like a stunt performer, like an action guy. I mean, he does a lot of running in North by Northwest.
He's almost 60 at this point.
At this point, he's an older guy.
Yeah.
It's a fun sequence. I feel like the roof is clearly like not a real roof, but like who cares? Like, because he's hanging off of it, and I'm like, okay, like, but it's very fun the way that they kind of like run and dodge the hook, and he's trying to get away, and then the guy falls, and he's hanging by the hook.
Yeah.
I found all of that like very fun, and
it's
then
fun. Yeah.
yeah, and then the guy he comes back and he's all banged up, and the guy working at the hotel is like, "Sir, please, like no more hooks in the door, please."
Oh yeah, that's what he says. That it's like, use the people next time.
Use the people next time. Like that's good.
He's got a giant gash in his back too, and he goes back to Reggie's room, and she's like, "Oh no, like let me help you." And
it's so funny because he's like, "No, like don't help me." He's like, "Don't worry, it's just a scratch." He's like,
trying so hard to like play it off, and she's just like, this is when she starts really throwing herself at him.
I mean, yeah, she sees a man in peril, and she, coming to her for help, and
she's so down bad for him.
she's so down bad. She, he sees him with his shirt off,
It's so funny.
his dad bod. She's like, oh my God, Cary.
But here's where we get one of the best lines, is where she's like, lie down on your, or she's putting the like medicine on him, and it's stinging, and she's like, you won't be able to lie down for a while, but then again, you could lie in any position.
Yeah.
He's just been lying to her the entire time. Like,
Yeah.
great line, great delivery.
So many good little lines like that, that just really highlight this film so well. And then they start kissing, and what we talked about earlier, Cary Grant's like, I don't know, like, you might fuck with me. I don't know if I fuck with you right now.
Yeah, she's kissing him, and he goes, like, knock it off or something, and then she stops, and then he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, knocking it off.
And he's like, who told you that?
I don't know if that's exactly the line.
It's something like that. It's like, who told you that?
Who told you to do that?
Who told you to do that? And then this line I think is so fucking funny. I think unintentionally, where they text calls with the other guys, and he's like, I got the boy or something, like, come to the room, and she goes, they have John Louis. Like, she doesn't even really care. Like, she's really not that stressed out. She's more just like, oh wow, they got him. Like, they don't even think it's that big of a deal, which I think is so funny. And I'm like, you might be right, because that kid's fucking annoying.
So my question is, how did they get John Louis?
I was thinking the same thing.
Where did he just like try to come visit?
Maybe
the Reggie or something. Like,
maybe we can say that.
Very unsupervised.
He's incredibly well. As we know, the French were very unsupervised back in the day.
That's true.
400 blows will tell you that. And so they are like, someone has to have the money. Let's go look for the money right now.
And they go on a treasure hunt with Jean Louis.
And this is the part with him that pisses me off, where they look around, and then she's like, Jean Louis, where do you think? And he's like, I think it would be under the bed. And he's like, it's not in the fucking bed, idiot. Like, think of another place. And he's like, up there, and like on top of the dresser, or the and she's like, wait a second, like, there is something up there. And she like goes up there, but he goes, I found it, and like runs out. And I'm like, you rat, like, cut it out, bro. Like,
again, he's 4 years old.
He's a fucking idiot. This kid is an op. Like,
what was there another movie that we were talking about on one of our other episodes where there was a kid and you were just roasting him? I forget.
Maybe.
Probably.
But this kid's a fucking idiot.
You hate kids.
I actually, I'm cool with a lot of movie kids, like, if they're doing it well. This one specifically, He's an ass. And so he runs out. I'm like, why are you running to these men to be like?
He did drop the ball on that one.
He dropped the ball, but it turns out it's just like a hook. And I don't know about you. I thought maybe she hid something.
Yeah.
But
She's kind of standing like with her hands behind her back.
but it turns out no, like it actually is just like the hook.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh, it's a little weird, kind of an odd moment. But and then they go into the Cary Grant's room at Dial, and fucking the hook guy is drowned in there.
Yeah. Bathtub full.
Which is like, okay,
Hand on his hook.
We like, I guess we could talk about like, you know, the split at the end of, you know, it being Dial being math out, but how did he get in there? How did he do that so fast, in and out?
That is another one of the, like, maybe you could call it a nitpick, but like, he's a very efficient killer. He's in and out pretty quickly.
He is. I will give him the benefit of the doubt here that they were just like, I don't know. He would have probably killed any of them.
Yeah,
but
and the bathtub, filling up the bathtub that quickly too.
I know, like, I don't know
must have drowned him and then filled up the bathtub.
I had to be that way, but it is it's funny that they put him in the bed drowned.
Oh yeah, because they don't want to tell
the,
like authorities, and he's like, and he's in his pajamas, like
and then the detective's like, I know that he did not drown in bed. There's no water.
That guy's so funny.
He is
I love
funny.
the detective.
I do love the detective.
He's just like, he knows this is all bullshit, and he just is so mad.
He's like, fuck you guys, you fucking idiots. Like,
I don't get paid enough for this.
Like, actually, I'm like,
They're
poor
all like,
guy.
I don't know what happened to
Bunch
him.
of assholes just like fucking his shit up. Like, actually.
Stupid Americans.
And then they like get back from this and like go on a walk, and then she gets back and he's like, I gotta shower, and she's like, shower in my room, and he's like, no, and she's like, get in here, and she's like, screams, someone's here, and
he's like yell if you need me or something. And
she is very hot and cold with him.
She's very hot.
She's very hot. That is true. And then we get this very charming scene again. Cary Grant showering in his suit.
So goofy.
It's so goofy.
No reason.
He puts the glasses on.
Yeah.
So funny. I'm like, this is his only suit, I guess.
He says it's like dry material or something. He referenced before. He's like, it's dry. Something, I forget what he says, but he's like, yeah, it'll dry soon. Like, no worries. And he just like, manufacturer says you should do this every day. Yeah, just like a silly little bit.
Give
Audrey Hepburn's laughing hysterically. She's eating out of the palm of his hand.
This is what we need more of in movies.
Guys taking a shower with their clothes on.
And then we get the math out call and being like, Carson Dial never had a brother. And then so in this moment, I think very wisely now, she's like, holy shit, again. I've been duped again.
Yep.
And I'm like, where is Math out? Is he just like renting a place? Is he just kind of hanging out?
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He's just like slowly revealing information, but he's like, he has to figure out what story Audrey Hepburn's getting, and it's just like he's like barely one step ahead the whole time.
We'll get to it, but there's a moment he kind of gives himself away that she doesn't catch. And I know when we get to it, I'll mention it. But I was like, yeah, she kind of missed that.
Yeah. Then we get the boat scene.
My boat scene where I remember watching. So if this is, I watched probably about like 40 minutes to 50 minutes of this movie. Like I watched a lot of it, maybe an hour. Like I think I was at this Radio Shack for a long ass time. This scene is just kind of engraved in my memory as a kind of just this like ultimate scene, not realizing now watching it that it's a very like tense scene at first. And this pissed. Is where he says he's Adam Canfield.
Professional thief
Adam Canfield. This, I really like the scene. I think Audrey plays the scene really well of her kind of shock and her sadness at like
aghast again, but
like another person she has to kind of relearn. And she has a line like, I liked Alexander. I don't like Adam. Like, I don't like the thief. I like the other guy. And I don't know. I found that pretty moving in this little moment where she like keeps kind of giving her trust to this man immediately,
Yeah.
over and over again. God,
Yeah, what
Cary.
is she saying? Oh, and then yeah, there's the line where he's like, you know, I'm having a hard time like keeping my hands off you, and she's just makes this face. She's like, oh, and she's
Yeah,
like
immediate.
so
Imme-
swooning.
I see it right here. It's actually so funny. It's like she's like putty in his hands.
Yeah,
It's actually so funny how
you should see
quickly.
your face.
And I mean, her smile could light up the room, and his smile too. I mean, he's a charming man.
Yeah,
I really do love seeing like two charming actors like romantically involved like this.
yeah, it
and I
really
do,
can carry the film.
yeah. And like I like this little flourish that Donan has here of like the light that kind of falls on these two lovers on a bridge or on a step. I think just like a sweet little moment that didn't need to be in there, but I just kind of think highlights the romanticism. And then they kiss, and holy shit, there it is, and these beautiful lights, and I'm so in it. But and then then we get another funny death with the glasses guy.
Yeah, how did he go again?
So he goes in the elevator, and it crashes, and then you just hear the sneeze from like the bottom as he's like getting crushed. Matthau is like a tactical genius, I guess, for most of this movie.
Yeah, he's just like an assassin. He's just going crazy.
Well, I guess he says later that like his whole goal was to just kill these people and get the money. So I guess he's been in scheming.
Yeah.
And I guess back in the day, you could just kind of get into a place like this. Like, there's no cameras or anything.
Well,
so,
the guard
is asleep.
He's asleep like in every scene that they
Yeah.
see him in.
And he has a
Every time they
blanket.
leave, he's
He
asleep.
has a blanket, and I like the blanket.
Just getting cozy.
And I guess if you're talking about Grizzly, I don't think it is, but you see like bloody neck of him for
Yeah,
like
I
a second.
I think he like does he get I kind of thought that he got stabbed or something.
He might have. Maybe Matthau was down there. I don't know, but clearly, like at this point, then the detective's like fucking fed up with these guys, and I'm like, what the fuck, guys? Like,
Yeah, because it happens in the morning because he gets a call in the middle of the night.
yeah,
So the detective's like, "Where were you two at 3:30 in the morning?" They're like asleep in bed. And I think he has a great line. Is like, "What a like great excuse! Like what a preposterous excuse! It must be true, or something like that."
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't make up such a ridiculous
she
story.
she said she was in her own bed,
Yeah,
and she said, "What a preposterous lie! It must be true," or something like that. Excuse. But then Tex calls, and now Campfield, and is like, "Where's the money?" So you're like, okay, so clearly he doesn't have it, and probably didn't kill him. So is it Cary Grant? But also you can kind of start deducing it might be Matthau at this point, just based on like the lack of people in the movie.
you could. Yeah,
It's not
But
like
I
it's
think,
a gimme.
I think you're like thinking it's either Tex
Still, yeah.
or what's his name at this point? Canfield. Cary
Yeah.
Grant. Yep.
And they like go through the bag, and like they don't find anything, but there's like some fun stuff, but there's like an agenda in there that they don't have. And then there's this very funny scene where I guess you learn that her job is she's a translator.
Yeah.
And she's translating this like meeting. And he somehow was just able to like walk in there
Yeah, he
and
just
start
pulls up.
talking to her. And there's a very funny part where she starts translating the meeting. And in the middle is like, oh my God. And everybody in the back like turns around.
Yeah,
and
well,
just
he starts like kissing her neck first.
yes,
Which
he's
is so
kissing
funny.
he's kissing her neck while she's doing it. And she's like, stop.
She's like,
and she's like,
"Stop."
which is so funny because everyone can see her, but he's really just like putting the moves on, and she's so smitten too.
Yeah,
She's so smitten by all of this, which is so funny. And then yeah, the scene, it's like so another moment where like Donen is not considered like a brilliant director by any means. Like his Batman or his Superman movie's fun. This is probably his best movie. He doesn't
well,
have a ton
Singing
of
in the Rain too.
Singing in the Rain, yes, and this is Singing in the Rain. That's definitely his best movie. But he doesn't have a wide list of classics. Like he has a few great movies, but he was a working director. like the level of talent that these type of guys had, it was still just like so fantastic. Like just the blocking of a scene of tons and tons of people in the background of a scene that like don't matter, but like with all these fun suits and these like fun little headphones and all turning around just for this one conversation is just such a brilliant little moment that just kind of adds to the fun and the liveliness of France, that the way that they're shooting it.
Yeah. You said he had a Superman movie?
Didn't he direct Superman?
I don't think so.
I feel like I'm right.
I'm looking at his credits.
Oh, you're right. He didn't direct Superman. I'm thinking of the other guy.
I was like, that would be quite a genre pivot.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking of.
who are you
I'm thinking of what's his name?
Super
I'm thinking of Richard Donner.
Donner, the Donner cut. Yep,
I'm thinking of because
classic mix-up.
Stanley Donen, Richard Donner. Because I'm Donner made The Omen, which is a very good movie. And he made Lethal Weapon, and which is also very good. But he made the other, like he was the guy that then made Superman. Like he was kind of a working guy. Stanley Donen, I guess, kind of similar though when you look at his Singing the Rage Charade, and then Funny Face, which
Audrey Hepburn joint.
but I think was not a guy that made a ton of like classics outside of that. Like I'm just looking through, I think he probably made a couple other good movies, but was not a guy that was like making a ton of other stuff that like has become incredibly well known. So the fact that he was able to,
He's got two of the best movies of all time, though. Like,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
no, it's great. You just think about like he made these two incredible movies and like a bunch of other stuff, but like these guys were just so talented. Like they just knew how to make a movie, that they can just have a scene that didn't have to be this fun and just fill it with so much like stuff.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of when I don't think they haven't figured out the stamp thing yet, but they figured out the agenda thing at this point, where they know that there was a meeting that was conveniently the same day as right now.
Yeah.
In the movie. And they kind of walk around, and Tex realizes the stamps.
Yeah.
And then Adam now realizes the
He's
stamps.
following Tex. Tex realizes the stamps, runs
Back.
away from the fair.
They go back to the hotel, and they go to the hotel rooms and realize that the stamps have been ripped out of the envelope. So you're like, holy shit, who has the stamps? And then you go back to Audrey, and then look who shows up again. Fucking Jean-Louis.
I knew you were going to get on him for this.
Up again. He's a fucking problem again. Of course he fucking loves stamps.
Reggie gave him the stamps.
Yeah, but his dumbass sold them for the box of worse stamps like a jackass. So of course he's like, oh, they went over here. But I was like, all right, this fucking idiot kid. But I like the look of the fair. It looks very lived in. I really like this scene when we go to the stamp place with this very kind older gentleman.
Honestly, MVP, this guy, for giving him back.
I kind of like the most like kind of touching scene in the film, because all the other kind of touching scenes are a little more humorous. This one is like very genuine.
Yeah, he says something like, for like an hour they were mine, and that's good enough for me.
And that's enough for me. And he tells us how much they owe. And he's like, I must pay for the other stamps. And he names all of them. And he goes, 10 francs.
Yeah.
And you're like, what a kind soul.
What a beast.
And so she gets the stamps back. We're like, yes, she got the money. She figured it out. Her husband had these rare stamps. Interesting thing, too. I like that it's kind of weird like that.
The stamps were really cool looking.
Yeah, they were.
Also, when I watched it this time, knowing that the money is the stamps, there's a line, I think when she first gets back to Paris after their ski vacation, she says to or Jean-Louis like, will you write to me or something? And she says like, oh, you just want the stamps or something, or like, I'll send you a letter so you can keep the stamps or something like
Oh,
that.
yes,
So it's like
yes,
a little
yes.
nod to what's coming eventually, and I caught that this time. And I
Smart.
was like,
That's good. Yeah, because I had forgotten about the stamp thing when I rewatched it this time. It had been a while.
yeah.
So yeah, good
And
pickup
also
there.
before that, when they're first going through the bag, before they get to the fair, Reggie has like the idea that she's like, "What if in the tooth powder, like, do you think that could be heroin?" And she's like, "Can you
Yes.
taste it? Can you tell just by tasting it?" Cary Grant tastes it, and he's like, "Heroin, peppermint flavored heroin," which I think is a great line.
Oh, here's another great line from earlier that I wrote down, but I forget exactly when it is. I think it's on the boat when he's telling his story about his childhood, and she says something. Goes, "Oh, why don't you shut up?" I'm like, that's so funny.
Doesn't he tell her to shut up back or something?
I know he says that to her.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
She's saying something. He goes, "Oh, why don't you shut up?" And I'm like, "That's fucking hilarious, man."
I wonder if that was scripted, or what if they were just like playing around.
I
They're
don't
just
know.
like, shut up.
It's really good. I think
Yeah.
everything else we've pretty much mentioned here. But so we go back. Tex is dead. Last time we were in the room, Cary
Yep.
Grant was in there. So, we're assuming now that maybe he really is this guy. Mathau is fucking moving, man. This guy is a
He's a
beast.
beast. He's
He's a
insane.
beast. He's moving different. Mathau moves different,
He
but we've
really
been
is.
known that.
He's
Like,
kind of like a bumbling fool, like everyone else, but he's an efficient killer for sure.
he's definitely an efficient killer, and we see Dial written in like the carpet.
Yeah.
And what I like about so then this is the scene I'm talking about. So we cut to Matt though. He's a little more movement in this scene. Like he's a little more frantic when he's like shaving, and it's not like crazy, but it feels like he's rushing a little more. But in this conversation about meeting him, he mentions the stamps.
So where do they meet again? I'm
Okay,
trying to
so
remember this.
Reggie goes back to the hotel
Yeah.
after getting the stamps, and Adam is gone. Tex is dead, and then so she calls Bartholomew,
Yeah.
and he is like, "Meet me at this place and like bring the stamps or something." He mentions the stamps and not her, but he wouldn't know about the stamps,
Yeah.
and she doesn't catch that. But
Right.
he's letting it slip a little bit.
Right. So then they meet. Was it at that like? Are they outside?
Yeah, they're outside. So this
Oh,
is
they're
where
going to meet, and then this
the
is when
subway chase. This is which is really fun.
really fun. Yeah.
So Cary Grant's chasing him, and she doesn't get in the taxi because he's like refusing to. So they run and they go into the metro, which I think there's some like funny humor of this. Like he's getting a ticket, and there's some like old man who's like getting a ticket,
In
so
his
he's
way, yeah.
in his way, which is really fun. And like the way they shoot the shadows in the subway is really cool. There's some really nice kind of color and light on Audrey's face here. And I love subway chases and train
Yeah.
chases where they have to wait for the subway and get on and get off.
Yeah.
And this is one of the great ones for me.
Yeah, they're going back and forth. She's like in the car. She thinks she got away from him, but he made it on. And then the door won't open, so he has to wait for the next stop. And she's just like panicking. What do I do? And then eventually she shakes him and hides in the phone booth, right? And tries to
Yeah, that's what I'm
call
saying.
the
And like
embassy.
the colors here are like really, really beautiful.
Yeah, very interesting subway system.
And they have like nuns that get in the way or something. Yeah, it is very funny. But yeah, so she hides. She calls the phone booth operator, and this is where you find out for sure because then she calls Bartholomew, and you see it's another guy.
Yeah.
That it's this guy we've never seen before, or we might have seen him in the beginning in the elevator earlier in the movie.
Oh, yeah, he was maybe one of those two guys.
Yeah, and that's when you realize that he's lying, and they cut it right to Math out there. So who we find out is actually Dial, and
The
he
real
runs up.
Dial.
And
He
I
lived.
love Audrey's like yellow jacket here because it
Yeah.
really it like really is accentuated in the night, and the way they shoot the night scenes are really great. Like I think it's on a dolly, but it moves with like a lot of precision and kind of like gracefully towards
Yeah.
the shootout, and like Cary Grant pulls the gun out. And this scene I remember a lot from a kid. This was the other one I remember like very clearly, of this like night shootout with these shadows on their faces.
Yeah,
And
the columns of
the columns, yeah. Really just like a cool looking shot or like scene.
then,
And like
yeah, Cary
she's in
Grant,
the
like,
middle
tries
of them.
to sneak behind and shoot him, and then in the
He
middle
misses.
of that, Audrey Hepburn runs away and hides in the theater.
Yeah, and Mathau's mustache in the shadows looks really cool. Like the way he has it, I love that kind of old timey mustache that he has going with his like slicked hair. Yeah, the way they shoot the shadows here is like really beautiful. Like this is a night scene. This is how you shoot a night scene with like tons of light and tons of color, and it feels very, very like lived in the moment. It feels like a place that they can end up. And they run into this gorgeous theater. Like it really is a beautiful theater room.
Yeah.
A great place for like a final set piece. And Mathau just kind of like really like dialed into this place. And you see Audrey like hiding in the cupboard, like the little spot under the stage.
Like the worst place to hide.
Really, the worst place to hide. She is kind of an idiot.
I guess because the door, like she could have escaped through the door, but it was
locked
or something. So then instead, she's just like a sitting duck in this little box.
But very wisely, and I like this sequence a lot, where Grant realizes he can pull the strings out of the back.
Yeah, my one nitpick here is it takes way too long. For
I
him to do
agree.
it.
I'm like, bro,
He's
she.
like, this one? And he's listening, and he's like, huh? She's getting closer. He's like, maybe this one, and it goes on for like a good like 2 minutes.
I think it should be shorter, because you're like, he could shoot her at any moment, dude. Like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah,
Just pull a bunch of them, actually.
yeah. Just start pulling random levers.
Pull all of them. Like, I don't know what you're waiting for, to be honest, dude. But it looks cool. And when he finally pulls it and he falls out,
Gets
he
him.
like, it's assumed he like dies like immediately.
Yeah, or like maybe it knocks him out or something.
And maybe knocks him out. He like breaks his
Reminded
legs
me
too.
of the Prestige a little bit.
I was thinking exactly of the Prestige in this
Yeah.
moment too, with the doors.
Trapdoor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like a fun little sequence, and then they kind of go right from this. It's a different day, because she's wearing something else. Again, she is stunting on them hoes,
Fashionista.
with her fashion icon here, with her like white hat and her white gloves and her blue dress, and she goes back into the office, and he's like, I can't go in. I can't. You're giving away this money.
Yeah, he's playing with her again.
I gotta wait outside. And so she goes in, and she's like, all right, I'll go in. And look who it is. Cary motherfucking Grant.
A U.S. Treasury agent.
You're like, bro, what is actually your job? Because you've just been on the move for days now.
It's her last like surprised face where she's just like, and then he makes this goofy face.
Let me see if I can do the same one. I probably can't, but
It's like,
yeah, I don't even,
that was really bad.
something like that. It's become like a Twitter GIF recently.
Yeah.
Which is maybe this movie coming more into the cultural forefront, is that they've used that as a GIF, which is great. This is the third moment I remember as a kid being like, he's the guy. He's actually the good guy this whole time from the I was like, oh my God. And his name, Cruikshank. Brian Cruikshank.
They could have given him a better name.
I think it's the funny joke is that he has the worst name out of all of them at the end.
Yeah, Peter Joshua.
Peter Joshua was not a good name, but
Alexander Dial.
I like that. I like Dial as a last name. It's kind of cool.
Adam
Canfield.
They're all okay.
They're all kind of okay, but Brian Cruikshank is not good.
Yeah.
Brian.
Anyway.
But it is such a charming little ending, and the face that Audrey has is so good here. Like the amount of emotion she's like just conveying here is like really fun. and the way that she's like of all the cruel things that you could have done,
Yeah,
and he's like, what? I was just doing my job.
yeah. Turns out he was actually supposed to be recovering this the whole time. That's
Um,
how he was involved.
and I and where he's like, when we go down to the marriage
Yeah,
office later,
put it on the marriage
and she's like,
license.
wait, the marriage office, and again, just
It takes
putty in
her a
his
second,
hands.
and she's like, "The marriage license."
And I do think the little ending thing they do here is very charming, where it zooms out and there's all these little shots from when he was his different personas.
Yeah,
And it's like kind of this like checkered pattern of shots,
yeah,
and then the like logo of like the end is like in there with the like the end, a Stanley Donen prediction, a universal release. I think that it's cute using all the negative space to kind of fill the frame.
yeah,
And I'm moved there where she's like, oh, Peter, Alex, Adam, Brian, whoever you are, I love you. And I'm
yeah.
like, I love both of you.
They're awesome. They're
It
so
is
good,
it is just like
so charming.
what a charming movie. Just the most charming. And to your point earlier, way earlier when we were talking, one of the reasons they used to do credit sequences in the beginning was because they did not need to do them at the end. So they would put everything in the beginning and then the movie would just end.
Yeah,
And that kind of changed. Well, now we have all the credits at the end, so they don't typically have to do it at the beginning anymore. But I like when they do it.
yeah. Same.
I don't know, and that's the movie, and it stuck with me clearly for like a decade. It is a very memorable movie for all its charm and fun. And on this is like my third or fourth time watching it now, and it is still just an endlessly enjoyable movie.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's when I typically like buy the physical copy of something, I instead of just buying, everything and spending tons of money, I try to be a little selective
Yeah,
with films that are either really important to me or ones that I want to
yeah,
like come back to a lot.
mm-hmm.
And this is definitely one that I want to come back to like every couple of years for a
Yeah.
while. I could see myself like showing my kids this someday and it's still being like funny, hopefully to them. But yeah, it's just such a cozy, like charming film that
Yeah.
is a
When
lot.
you look it up on IMDb, it does say cozy mystery
Yeah, it's a
as
good,
one of its tags.
it's a good way to describe it.
I like this is a movie I would like I could show my girlfriend or friends who are not maybe as into older movies and be like, you'll like this one. This is really charming.
Yeah.
And
We don't have the older movie problem, but some people are really like, I don't want to see anything that was made before like 2000, which is just like ridiculous. But
I'm
yeah,
like,
this
bro,
could,
that's so lame.
could be like a gateway to showing someone who's like that, something from the 60s that is still really looks really good.
100%, because yeah, there's some of its shaggy like oldness, but like I think all of that plays into what makes this movie special. And there's no reason not to love it. Truly.
I'm with you.
Yeah, what a great movie. So, in terms of albums for the week, I couldn't think of a newer release, but I also thought, because we're talking about an old movie, I would bring out one of my older vinyls. And so I took out this copy of Rubber Soul.
Ooh,
It's
cool.
I'm pretty sure it's like an old, like maybe like original copy of it, like maybe like from the time, like an original pressing. I think it is. I can't be 100% certain. But this album came out in 1965, so 2 years after Charade, and I don't know if they really share a lot of DNA, but it's just a cool album, and two things from the 60s that I like quite a bit.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just going with
You
Charade.
should, as you should.
4K of the week.
Yeah, Charade.
The new Criterion edition.
Watch Charade.
I'm a little disappointed it doesn't have like more special features.
I totally agree. I was thinking because I usually, if I've seen a movie already and I'm gonna watch it again, I'll watch the commentary. And I didn't watch the commentary this time because it'd been a minute. And I just wanted to watch the movie. But I was like, oh, before we talk about it, let me read or like watch some of the extra stuff. And it's just that and the booklet.
Yeah.
And
There's
the
like a little
trailer.
essay in there, but
Yeah.
That's really it. Are you a
Yeah.
big commentary guy? Audio commentary?
I like them. I don't watch them a ton because it is a very different watching experience.
Yeah.
You're not really watching the movie. Um, when I make my YouTube videos, I buy all the movies I get when I do them, and I will watch all the movies twice. I will watch them once normally, and then I will watch them again with commentary because you get a lot of good info.
Yeah.
I think a good commentary can be really fun to watch, but it's really only good when you want to like rewatch something and kind of get more about it.
Yeah, and you want to learn more about like what they were thinking with certain scenes. I've only seen like a handful, but yeah, I feel like I'll start usually watching them more when it's like my third or fourth time watching.
They're fun. I David Fincher famously has really good ones where
Yeah.
he kind of is like a funny freak. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones I've listened to. Usually they're very chill and it's just like some nice fun info, but occasionally you get like a really funny one or a charming one. The Donnie Darko commentary with Gyllenhaal's pretty funny with what's his name, Richard Kelly, because Gyllenhaal's like pretty young in that one. He's like a little like off the walls. Just thinking of ones I've seen like more recently than others. And
This
it's
one was
nice.
from 1999.
That's pretty cool. Who does this one? It's the
It's
it's
Donnan and the
and Peter
screenwriter.
Stone.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I think it's nice too when you can bring like cool people together to watch the movie. Like I like that about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Charade, guys. Go watch it if you haven't. If not, go watch it again if you've seen it already. A movie I absolutely adore. And next week, join us for our chat about the Odyssey,
Yeah. It's
which
gonna be a
I
good one.
cannot wait to go see. All right. Yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.
Thank you.